Hello and welcome. Today I will be demonstrating something a little different. About nearly 6 months ago, I wanted to challenge myself and see if I could make an RPG game from scratch in Python. Knowing very little about Python, I struggled at first, but with hard work, persistence, and many tutorials later, what you see here today is the end result. A Super NES Final Fantasy battle system coded in Python. In this video, I will explain very briefly the gameplay, functionality, some code, bugs, and what I could have done differently. I would like to credit Justin Armstrong for his setup.py structure, loading graphics function, and among some others. I also would like to thank Rick Cross for the input stream code. Links in the description below. Without further ado, let us get into it. When the battle first starts, the ATB gauge immediately starts filling up. Once full, the player is presented with a simple menu to select from: Attack, Special, Magic, and Items. To select from these options, simply press the up and down keys on your keyboard and press X to select with your option, and press Z to go back. Selecting Attack brings up the target selection mode, in which you select your target with the up, down, right, and left arrow keys. After making your selection, press X to attack. Upon selecting Magic, you will be brought to the Magic selection screen, which brings up the character's magic list. As you can see, both characters have a different magic list. After selecting your choice, select your target and press X to attack. The item menu is pretty straightforward. You have a set list of items in your inventory. Simply pick your item, select your target, and press X to consume your item. Unlike Magic and Specials, items have a limited quantity, as each time you consume an item, it is reduced by 1. Furthermore, abilities can have buffs, debuffs, and debuff removal. For instance, here we see Glennis used Haste, which increases his speed. The enemy here can use an attack called Bio, which has a chance to poison you. Here we see the poison debuff being applied to Lizette. Lizette's special, however, can both cleanse debuffs and heal her allies. Along with Magic, specials will be different per character. Another cool feature is the ability to switch between characters that have a maxed ATB gauge. Simply press S to switch between characters. Next, let me demonstrate a basic flowchart of the battle engine and how it works. The system works by creating a fight object, which simply creates a fight scene that takes input from what the player or enemy chose for their fight options. It plays out accordingly, dealing damage, healing, etc. I found the system works best, as it is very dynamic and flexible for multiple different options for fights, as I'll explain here. First, you have your ATB gauge filling up for both the enemy and player characters at the beginning of the battle. Once the ATB gauge is full, a player character is flagged as ready. When a player character is ready, you enter into the select queue, in which only one player character can be present at a time. Once in the select queue, the menu pops up, presenting you with the choices shown before in this video. If you decide on an option, you move into the battle queue. But if you switch characters, the system pops the present character in the select queue and moves to the next ready playable character into the select queue and allows menu options for that player instead. After selecting your fight options, the data is then stored and is used to create a fight object. That fight object is what tells the system to play out whatever you chose for your character and performs all the necessary fight calculations. If a character is an enemy, the AI automatically picks what ability to use and creates the appropriate fight object. After the fight object is created, it is then stored into the battle queue list to be played. If that fight object is not the first item in the list, it will not be played until the previous fight is over. Once the fight is done playing, it is then popped from the list, your ATB gauge is reset, and the cycle continues. As for the code, there are a lot of engines that I programmed to make this battle engine work. The most notable are the battle queue and fight object engine, and then there is the battle animation engine. It may not seem like it, but animations also contribute a huge chunk to the game. as it is usually the first thing people see when playing your game. As we see, there are a lot of animation scripts for this game, each of which are created as objects by the battle animation system to be played in various parts of the game. I added custom ability to make character-specific animations or VFX animations which pretty much play whatever you want. From multiple frames at the same time, sound effects to be played on specific frames, blend effects, faster frame speed options, fading, mask effects, and being able to play an animation within an animation. Although good for the most part, the engine, however, has a few bugs and some missing features that would need to be addressed. Most notably, the animation engine has a bug where bolting is played much longer than what the script intended, which is probably the result of not properly optimizing the engine after implementing the many features I added. Secondly, the magic menu isn't quite as optimized as I would like it to be. Simply put, it needs to be rethought. Also, the engine doesn't really make enemy formations properly, as I didn't spend that much time on it. In the end, I am happy with what I was able to accomplish in 6 months. From having almost no idea what I was doing, to creating what you see here today. It inspires me to continue honing my coding skills and to pursue greater heights. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.